Hi there, this is Mrs. Ashworth, your friendly neighborhood Lynbrook Library Technology teacher, and this screencast presentation covers developing a research question. I recommend taking notes as you watch. Also, if you'd like to access the script, I have uploaded it so that the video's closed captioning is correct. Feel free to turn it on as needed. Here we go. You have already been given a list of possible topics. Many of you have already settled on the topic you plan to research. Maybe you feel ready to move on to the point where you're collecting sources, and maybe you're also dreading the plunge. Simply having a topic doesn't necessarily take away from research anxiety. What does work is spending a little more time on the front end to prepare yourself for the dive. Creating a working research question and spending time planning your research will not only reduce anxiety, it will also guide you more quickly to better sources. Today, we'll be reviewing the purpose and features of a good research question so that you'll be able to go out and write your own for your research project. Once you have a topic, you're going to want to turn that back into a question. Why? Because it will help you to focus your research, the direction you want to take. When you begin with a question, you know that your research is going to provide an answer rather than just gather and regurgitate information. Moreover, and this is the best part about developing a question, it will help you write a better thesis. Your answer to the question will be your thesis. Now that we understand the reasons why you'd want to turn your topic into a question, let's talk about the features of a good research question. A good research question is not oversimplified. That means two things. Firstly, the question should be open-ended. The answer is not yes or no, nor is it a question that's easily answered by a fact. It should be answerable with support from facts that you find, as well as peer-reviewed opinions from academic sources you find in your research. Secondly, you shouldn't create a question that you already have the answer for. If you already know the answer, you'll only look for source materials that support your findings, which is a very limiting approach. Let's look at some examples to put this into perspective. The first example, are self-driving cars safer than human-driven cars, could have a yes-no response, and you could possibly back it up with some statistics that you find. However, the better question allows you more freedom to research. What are the expected effects of more self-driving cars on public safety is an open-ended question. There are a lot of different possible responses here. You could be gathering information about precautions self-driving car companies are offering. You could look at statistical evidence from tests, but you could also look into conjectures from tech companies, the government, etc. Next feature, a good research question is researchable. This really comes down to you being able to easily locate articles the school databases provide that help you to answer your question. If your question is too broad, you'll be swimming in too big and deep of a pool. If it's too narrow, you're going to have trouble locating enough articles. You'll also have trouble with researching using school databases if the topic of your question is too current. If you can only find source materials with a Google search, you've selected a topic that is either too current and possibly too narrow. Let's look at some examples to illustrate. The first question, what are the expected effects of new transportation technology on public safety, is too broad. In researching, I could be going into a lot of different technologies, from high-speed trains to jetpacks to drone buses. Taking our better example from before, the focus is on one new transportation technology, the self-driving car. Additionally, the first question focuses on new transportation technology, which could force me to look for transportation concepts that haven't made it into database articles yet. A good research question is manageable. Ideally, you write up a good question and you go on to do easy research and have just the right amount of things to say in response to the question. However, in reality, it looks very different. Be prepared to revise your research question. Revising your research question is a normal part of the process. If you're unhappy with the results because you have too much to say, you'll need to revise to narrow down the focus of the question. And if you don't have enough to say, you'll want to revise your question so that it can cover more information related to the main topic. Let's look at ways to revise our better example from before. Say I'm having a hard time with my research job because I'm finding way too much source material. How do I regain my focus so that it's manageable? I can revise my original question so that it homes in on negative or positive effects, or I can change it up and instead of focusing on public safety, focus more on what effects self-driving cars will have on service drivers. Will we be looking at the disappearance of cargo truck drivers, or Uber or Lyft drivers? Say I'm having a hard time because I'm just not finding enough information. I can broaden my scope so that I find more materials. If I revise my question from effects on public safety to effects on the economy, I'm guaranteed to find a lot more journal articles. A good research question is engaging. You conducted your pre-search on a variety of topics and hopefully landed on one that you're interested in over one that you think you'll find the most information on, or the topic you already know a lot about. Information studies have shown that genuine curiosity and finding the answer to your research question eases a lot of the anxiety around research, write-ups, and project deadlines. Remember, you engage in research to find answers, not to reinforce ideas or opinions that you already have. A final word of advice: be prepared to change up your research question. Like I mentioned before, this is a normal part of research and can happen early or late in the process. Begin your research process with a question that has these features to focus your mind on answering the question through your information gathering. This self-guidance will hopefully save you time and prevent some research-related anxiety. I've collected a few resources for your benefit. You can access them through the links in the slides presentation, and the link for that is right here. If you need research question help or need help collecting source materials, please feel free to make a research appointment with me. You can do that from the link on the library webpage. Thanks. I hope you apply the information from the presentation toward building a good research question.